Hey guys, welcome back to this week's Puller, as Josh would like to say.
What are we reading?
That is a great question, but before we get started, guys, we actually wanted to say that as of this recording, we are sitting at 699 subscribers, so we're really hoping to get over that 700 mark. We really appreciate all the support we've been getting so far. You guys seem to really be enjoying the early reviews of these issues, so we hope that they're helpful. Definitely let us know in the comments if you found them helpful or if we just sound like babbling idiots. But as
we hit 700, Jake will sing Frozen's Let It Go.
naked?
Yes.
I thought that was Josh.
That was supposed to be Josh.
No, it wasn't Josh.
Anyway,
that a long
also
time
guys,
ago.
if you listen somewhere embedded in this video, we will be giving a code phrase out that if you walk in here tomorrow or anytime this week, you will get 20% off of the Superman issue. But remember, you gotta listen through this whole thing. We aren't gonna telegraph where it is. Just be sure to listen to it and then come back, tell us what code phrase, and you can get 20% off the Superman #1 that we're gonna be reviewing later today. But without any further ado, we are gonna get started straight on Plastic Man #2 with Josh. Or Dallas, sorry.
By the way, we're both here. Dallas and Josh, we're
You guys
both here. Hi.
We're not used to Dallas being here.
Yeah, after 1 week, I threw everything off. So Plastic Man, we all read the first issue. I really, really enjoyed it, and this issue's no different. It's full of jokes, but it has a serious plot. But the serious plot is derailed sometimes by the jokes, and it's a nice balance. He's basically continuing the plot that was left over by issue 1, as well as looking for someone else introduced in this issue.
The Suave Prince.
The Suave Prince. So I'm going to leave the review at that. The book, I love it. The artwork at times is a little under-detailed, but as you guys point out, I need to be a little more lenient because it is a Plastic Man title. However, when the artwork's good, it's good. The humor's great. Anything you guys want to add? Any of the pop culture references that we all enjoyed and joked about?
I enjoyed the search and find.
Oh yeah,
that was a cool little thing that they added on.
Oh,
into
Where's
it.
Waldo page.
You
And
said
ironic.
that, and I thought it would break my intention. I was so deep into it, and it didn't break it. I was like, well, this is cool, and I found things real quick, and I was like, all right, time to move on.
Yeah.
It was nice.
No, I mean, I enjoyed this book. I'm actually enjoying Plastic Man a lot more than I thought I would. My only thing is that it seemed like there's this huge cliffhanger at the end of issue 1, and then it takes about halfway into this book to even continue that plot line. And so I'm just kind of going, where the hell is this going? They set up this huge thing in the first one. This one, to me, there was a lot more jokey and a lot more fun, lighthearted, wacky. You know, every word you can use to describe the word kind of fun and offbeat. But it's a good it's a fun read. I don't know that I would be wanting to pay $3.99 for every time this issue came out, because it's not really an issue or a series that I feel like you're ever going to want to come back to and read. But for me, it's at least a good time killer, and I enjoy reading it.
I also feel that I should throw in real quick, the writer is Gail Simone and the artist is Adriana Millo. So
yeah, this is actually a weird book to see from Gail Simone, if you ask me.
There's a lot of weird, little jokes that's put in here that, and even with the first one, where I'm just like, wait a minute, this ain't Gail Simone. This isn't the girl who cried woman in a refrigerator.
Well, yeah, like, she's kind of like, we kind of look at Gail Simone as someone who's a little bit of like the PC police a bit in comic books.
She's the spokeswoman for females in comic books.
Right.
Females who are working in comic books and females
Portrayed
literally
in
in comic books.
Yeah.
And this one is just kind of, she's a little bit raunchier in this.
yeah.
I can't tell if it's commentary on like, hey man, let's see how you like it when you're kind of, objectified this way, but I'm not uncomfortable with this.
yeah.
No, I think it's
anyway,
funny.
so,
I mean, you're talking to people who think penises are funny their whole lives. It's like, yeah, penises are funny.
I mean, they're actually, there's so many little jokes and references to the DC universe. Like, one that I caught that I think you guys missed until I pointed it out. There's actually a stripper that's dressed up like Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel, and it's just kind of
the DC
funny.
version.
Yes, the DC version.
Yeah.
You're just flipping through really quickly, and it's subtle in the back. But unless you guys have anything to add, I think after you brought up the penises, it's a good time to unveil the rating system.
Yeah, I think that this book is pretty clever. It's a fun little read. I'm going to give it 2.75 sliding trombones.
2.75.
2.75.
Wow. 3/4 of a sliding trombone.
Yeah.
Mine, I'm really enjoying Plastic Man, and I'm going to be a little more generous on it. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 sliding trombones.
Holy shit, okay.
Okay, I really enjoy this book, and I'm really surprised by it, but I feel like 2.75 is sliding trombones is the same with me. I really enjoy this book, but I mean, sometimes some of the humor is just a little too kiddish. It doesn't really land as well for me. And what Jake said, story plot kind of just
It's everywhere.
I can't tell if this is supposed to be more of a comedic book or more of a serious book.
Right.
It's definitely, for Plastic Man, it's definitely more of a serious book. But I just can't tell which route we're going, but I still really, really enjoy this book. I mean, I have no problem spending $3.99 on this book.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to what I think most people probably clicked on this video for: Superman #1.
Superman #1.
Oh, it's Plastic Man #2.
Oh no, it's Superman #1. Written by Brian Michael Bendis, and art is done by Ivan Reyes.
I say Reyes, yeah.
I'm gonna say Rice because you know what?
You want to be different.
I want to be
Contrarian
different.
motherfucker.
Okay, so this kind of if you haven't read Man of Steel, you're still fine. You can still understand this book for the most part. But this kind of, for me, what really stuck out for me on this book was the fact that we're seeing how Clark is dealing with the fact that his family is not at home. Which I feel like if you're a father and you're reading this, you're like, man, this is super relatable. You like at first you're like, the kids are away, the wife is away, fun times, and it's not fun times. So you kind of get to a little bit more to the humanity of Superman in this book. You find out about his new Fortress of Solitude, where that's going to be located since it was destroyed.
I love that location. By the
I
way.
do too.
I think that is
Yeah,
perfect.
I
incredibly
don't
cool.
really want to say it because I feel like that's a really good reveal.
Yeah, don't give it away, but I think it's incredibly cool.
And then you get this interesting ending where you kind of see where the book is supposed to be going off to. Don't know how I really feel about the ending. I know some people might be really excited about it. I know some people's going to be kind of confused by it. I'm intrigued. With that being said, I would give this book, I'd probably give it about 3 sliding trombones.
3?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Bendis does a really good job at portraying the voice for Superman. And I also feel like, I don't know, for some reason when I was reading this, the beginning of it at least, I was kind of getting that little bit of old Bendis style writing in there. It definitely reminded me a lot of like the earlier issues of his New Avengers and Mighty Avengers in a way. There's nothing in it that reminds me of it. Just for some reason, that's what my head started thinking about. Like, hey, you remember the New Avengers? And I was like, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm enjoying this book. I think, like we talked about with Man of Steel, Superman's going to be probably Superman dealing more with the things that are more family related, while Man of Steel Action Comics is going to be the more action driven comic book.
Yeah.
So this one I think is interesting. The things that stuck out to me one right away was the pages. These are not like the high gloss pages that we're used to in these ones. It feels very 90s. So I'm going to say to anybody picking this book up, definitely make sure you bag and board it and don't keep it anyplace moist, because these pages will get that gritty kind of feel on them as it ages if you don't take care of the book.
Comic books from back in like 94 to 97.
Yeah, I mean, like the first thing that honestly jumped to my head was Kevin Smith's Quiver. Green Arrow Quiver, like his pages are like that. But and then the other thing that jumps out at me here the most, other than the incredibly cool location of the Fortress of Solitude, is actually the interaction with Martian Manhunter.
I was about to say,
I didn't want to go into too
favorite
much detail
part.
about it.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just like, that has me very intrigued. It has me a little worried. It has me a little on edge. I'm curious about what's going on there. And then, of course, Superman does feel like Superman, which I love. Bendis, he does a good job. Reyes is drawing Superman like 90s Superman again, so it feels very classic. And then I will say Bendis actually does a good job here, because I didn't think he did a very good job Man of Steel, lending his voice to like Hal and Barry and Wonder Woman. I mean, even if it is briefly, they feel like they know what they're doing. My only complaint is at the end of Man of Steel, if you guys read issue 6, there's a really interesting reveal, and that is not touched upon at all in this book.
I think it's like what you said. It's
Action Comics, most
Action
likely,
Comics,
but yeah.
which I think that's because I feel like what you just said, and which we said it in our last review too, is that I feel like Superman is going to be more about Clark Kent, where it's about the whole being a father and the kid and wife being gone for right now, and then
Action
Comics is going to deal
Superman.
more about Superman,
Right.
the action and
The
Action
globetrotter
Comics.
kind of guy. But anyway, I'm going to give it, actually, I'm right there with you, Josh. I'm going to give it a little higher, 3.25 sliding trombones. I enjoyed it. This is definitely one I'm looking forward to an issue 2 with. I think it was very smart, Man of Steel to come out weekly, and the week after it ends, Superman #1's hitting the shelves.
I agree.
Smart on DC's part.
I also really enjoyed this one. I also really enjoyed Man of Steel, that 6-issue run. My favorite part, I think we had the same one, was the interaction, now that you've said the name, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
And it wasn't actually because the interaction, it was more because it showed how busy Superman is and the breakdowns.
I like that.
I thought that was an excellent, like, showing him just scattered all over the place but still coherent. I will say that one of the characters in that dialogue kind of reminds me of an Injustice storyline.
Yeah, right?
It kind of worries me, but not in like a like, I'm not going to read this. Like, what the hell's going on? I want to read
Yeah.
more. So with that said, I'm going to actually go higher. I think I'm going to go 3.5 sliding trombones.
This isn't an auction, guys. You don't have to try to outbid me on
All
that.
right.
That's the
sorry.
goal.
I just thought it was a little bit better than the 3.0. Okay. And then we also all read Titans issue 23, which if anyone heard us talking about how to fix the comic industry, it was all about how don't start, renumbering these titles when every time a new team, creative team comes on. So that's what Titans did. They put out that special number 1 that kind of introduced everything, and then Titans is going on. So now it's issue 23. We got Dan Abnett and something Peterson, Brandon Peterson doing the art. Artwork's great. I love the artwork. I mean, this thing is crisp, it's clean, it's really well drawn, if you ask me.
At times it has a really painted look.
Oh yeah, it's especially that cover.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, man, Dan Abnett, I think, been killing it on Aquaman. I'm not over the moon about this. Is basically the Titans are the first responders to deal with the emergent threats that have become the outbreak of metahuman powers because of the source wall breaking and No Justice and Metal. And so they're kind of dealing with the fallout of that. But the thing is, there's a lot of weird things going on in this book. Things like giant rats that I'm just, what the hell about. Beast Boy, I think Beast Boy has done really well. I think Nightwing's done really well. Miss Martian. Now, so this book has also reminded me a lot of the feel of Young Justice. You know, and I think that's pretty intentional with Young Justice Season 3 finally coming out. But there are some things I definitely disagree with in this book. And it comes mostly from Miss Martian, actually. So, I don't know. This isn't my favorite read by any means this week. This isn't something I would say rush out to get, but, I will say that the book does show that there could be promise, and these might be some growing pains here for Abnett on Titans for now. But the coming threat, too, doesn't really seem all that interesting. But I will say, again, Martian Manhunter's in here, and there's something kind of off about Martian Manhunter in this book as well. So, with that being said, I will give Titans issue 23 2.25 sliding trombones.
I also agree. I think this was probably my least favorite DC read of this week. I don't want to say it wasn't good. It was still good, but I do agree. Miss Martian was definitely the weakest point for me, and I also agree in Beast Boy. I think he was my favorite part because of the conversation and resolution between Beast Boy, Raven, and a mystery character I'm not going to say anything on. So that I think was the standout point, just because the first issue kind of set up he's dealing with struggles of his own, and when they explore characters like that, it's usually probably my favorite part about comics, when they explore problems with characters.
Well, I will say that Dan Abnett writing Aquaman, I know Josh has actually recently jumped on that Aquaman Rebirth run, and he feels it's a little dry. But I told him, I swear, as it goes on, it gets really, really good and juicy. So maybe that's what's going to happen with Titans here too. Maybe it's going to have a slow kind of stumbling start, but maybe it gets really good later on.
Even good writers, they have to set something up. I mean, most books and comic books, any kind of things like that, it usually you have to go through the boring part of getting everything set up. Right. And also, you got to think, Abnett's coming in and he's trying to save a book that was close to being canceled. So he's coming in and he's, jumping in on issue 23, trying to set up this new roster, this new team, kind of make it quick, and then try to jump to this point. So, I mean, I'm going to pride him on that. You know, he's doing a good job on that, in that aspect. Me personally, Miss Martian was probably the weakest point. My strongest point was Donna.
Donna, she's cool.
Oh man, she was so badass.
I love me some Donna.
Yeah, I really like Donna in this. Nightwing is a little angsty bitch like always. I mean, come on, that's the reason why we all like Nightwing. Like, remember back in the 90s when he had the mullet and he was like all angsty and shit, and everybody was like, oh man, Nightwing's hot, okay? Nightwing's still hot, okay? He's just an angsty little bitch.
Josh, calm down your boner show.
Shit.
Sorry, guys.
All right, anyways.
Okay, so with I'm going to reveal my rating system, and I'll give it about 2.25.
I think
sliding
honestly,
trombones.
I'm right about saying 2.25 sliding trombones.
I will throw this out there. This is kind of why I was kind of thinking about a way to phrase this. I don't want to start up a huge thing, but one thing that makes me feel like some people should probably rush out and pick this up is also
A new Steel?
There's a new character in here.
Oh, gotcha.
We don't know what's going to end up happening with this character.
Right.
This character could become another member of Titans at some point, could become a little bit bigger in the DC universe, but there is a new metahuman that is introduced in this book, and as of lately, DC has been putting out these books where by Thursday everybody finds out that this book is going for like $8 because nobody expected it to rise up in price, but it's because of a new character that's been added into it. So I would kind of, keep your ears perked up if you're a collector on this book.
That's a good point to add. I didn't think about that. It's a good point.
Yep. And our secret code phrase is Fortress of Attitude.
Fortress of Attitude.
All right, moving on to Hawkman #2, which Dallas and I both read. I'm actually really impressed with this book. I didn't give a shit about Hawkman. I didn't read issue 1 when it first came out. I waited, I think, till the next week to try it out. Hawkman's not a character I care about, but Venditti, being the writer that he is, he's a really well-qualified writer. Anyway, Hawkman #2, basically, he's like, hey, I know I've been reincarnated all these times here on Earth, but he's starting to realize it's not just been Earth he's been reincarnated on. Right. He's lived many lives as many different races and beings across the universe, and so he's trying to unfold his history because he feels like there's actually a threat coming, and all of his past lives have been warning him that at some point, some threat is coming for him, and so he's trying to unfold this. And I love going back to like ancient Greece. I like hitting these different points in history, and it makes it a lot of fun for me to read. And I think Robert Venditti's good. This is one of the few times I've actually really been enjoying Brian Hitch's work and his artwork too. I'm not a huge fan of him, but it's really working for this book, and so I'm really impressed with this. This is actually my favorite DC read this week. I'm gonna give it 3.75 sliding trombones.
I was not a huge fan of the first issue. It had its moments where that led me to be excited for the next issue. One of them being the 2-page spread that actually showed his lineage, so it showed like the Kryptonian, Hawkman, and everything, and kind of broke him down. So it made me excited to see the exploration of that. And this one you do actually get to see in the pages, not just verbally, but in the pages, an exploration of one of his lineages. It has me excited, like you said, going back to ancient Greece and Egypt, seeing these ancient times actually through his eyes and through stories. It has kind of, and it had in the first one, kind of like an Indiana Jones Uncharted feel.
It has a very Nathan Drake feel for me, and Indiana Jones is a good call too.
And I like it. This issue definitely got a lot better than the first issue for me. So now I'm actually excited to read issue 3 and on. Yeah. This one I'm gonna go 3.5 sliding trombones.
All right, and Josh, you read Flash #50.
Yeah, it's the conclusion of the Flash Wars.
Oh, so Flash Wars is only a 4-parter?
From what I'm understanding. Right. I mean, unless they continue it off, there's a way to continue it. Okay. But the way that this ends makes me feel like it is concluded. They don't say that it is the end, but, I don't know 100%.
Who knows?
Who knows? Big mystery. I mean, I don't
We'll find out in 2 weeks, anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so once again, this book is printed a lot like 1990s comic books, so you do want to make sure you get this bad boy bagged and boarded almost immediately. I mean, it's action-packed from the beginning. I don't want to flip through it because Jake hasn't caught up yet, and there's some spoilers in it. Action-packed, deals a lot with Wally West, and when I say Wally, I mean traditional Wally, and I love that Wally. In this book, Joshua Williamson does an excellent job at writing Wally. I love the Wally, and it makes me remember why I like Wally so much. This book also has two pretty exciting little surprises at the end that I'm really excited about reading the next one. I can't wait for 2 weeks for this next one to come out. I am going to give this 3 sliding trombones.
So what was your favorite DC issue this week?
My favorite favorite would have to be probably The Flash, but it's a tie between The Flash and Superman.
Okay, Dallas, what was your favorite DC read this week?
Plastic Man, but Hawkman's kind of close.
Okay. All right, well, I got one more book that I've read, and then we will call it a day here on the DC review for this week. But I read, of course, Hal Jordan The Green Lantern Corps #48.
Surprise.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, no.
By Robert Venditti and Rafa Sandoval on the art. Dude, Sandoval's been killing it. So this is part 1 called The Last Charges. If I'm remembering correctly, this is going to be like the last part of Hal Jordan The Green Lantern Corps. Then they're going to be ending the series. But this is all about how John and Hal are getting this kind of ragtag team of people you would not expect to come together to fight the Dark Stars. The Dark Stars are kind of the controller's version of a Green Lantern Corps, but they're like a hive mind, and they go out, they carry out what they feel is justice by just killing criminals. And there's a really good philosophical debate about whether or not you should be giving criminals the chance to commit crime again, because Romot Rue, who is Tomar Ray's, Tomar 2, is... these names are hard. Tomar Ray's son, Tomar-Re was killed, and it was by a guy who his father had put away, then been killed. Now he's like leading the Dark Stars, and he used to be a Green Lantern. So there's a lot of push and pull there. But you got guys like Arkillo, Orion, Zod, Hector Hammond, John Stewart, and Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, Hal Jordan. All these guys are coming together, and banding together to fight the Dark Stars. So it's been a setup for a while, but man, this is a good start to a good payoff. And I love that the fact that Venditti can give every one of these characters their own voice. Arkillo doesn't sound like Kilowog doesn't sound like Rayner doesn't sound like Kyle or Ryan, Zod. Everyone's got their own personality, which makes this feel more realistic. And then of course the Guardians decide to come in, and it leaves off on a pretty good little cliffhanger. And I'm going to say that this one is a solid 3.5 sliding trombones. I'm really excited to see where this goes, but also saddened to know that this series, I think, is supposed to be ending very soon. So anything else you guys needed to say before we got out of here?
I do want to throw out there that the next issue of The Flash, 51, it kind of concludes everything of the Flash Wars. Flash War is done, but there is going to also be like a cleanup issue.
The Fallout, or kind of like a Secret Empire Omega, which was the real ending to Secret Empire.
Yeah, so after the credits, children.
Yeah. It's the after credits teaser to Flash Wars.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, I think that is all we've got for you to get to today. Make sure you check out the channel and look for this week's Marvel review, where we'll be discussing things like Ryan Ottley and Nick Spencer's new Amazing Spider-Man 1. So we appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully this got us over 700 subscribers. We really appreciate it, and we will catch you guys next week. Take care.